Let's go out with a bang. Bang, bang, bang. Here we go. I'm way too young to lie here forever. I'm way too old to try. So whatever, come hey, come hey. Let's go out with a bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Hey everybody. Good morning, good morning. This is the first experimental episode of Katie Loves VoicePlay podcast as a part of the celebration of me getting 130 Instagram followers. I never have had that many people follow me on any social media account. So thank you guys so very much. First off, so we're just gonna dig right in to this here. So, Katie loves VoicePlay. Why do I love VoicePlay? Well, we're gonna take it all the way back in time. We're going to go, probably around, I'd say, carry the 1, carry the 2, probably around 2016, 2017. So yeah, about maybe 4 years ago, I stumbled across them through Facebook, actually, but it was one of those crazy kind of clickbait websites, that, they said it's like, oh, have you heard this version of a song? And at that point, me unbeknowing, it was VoicePlay's Phantom of the Opera. And then it was like, oh, you've never heard Phantom of the Opera like this, in air quotes. So then I checked it out, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is pretty cool. So listened to the whole thing. It was like, meh, and then completely carried on with the rest of my day. And, because I wasn't really big into acapella at that point. I know, it's terrible. I'm awful. But yeah, I wasn't into acapella at that time, and then it was, I think probably the next start of it was with Mike Tompkins, but no offense to this guy, I mean, he's great and all, but as I listened to his stuff, it was just like, oh, you're just putting out a cover of an original with just kind of adding percussion tracks and adding your own stuff, like giving it Peter Holland's effect, except with Peter, he does his own originality. So, yeah, and then I got into pentatonics for a while. I think it was about maybe up to the point of when Avi left the group. And then after that, while I'm sitting there in tears, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna see, what else is out there, because I want to know more, I want to sing more, I want to just see what this acapella thing is. And so I managed to, look in the interwebs, and then I had found Peter Hollins, who, we all know Peter. He's an amazing vocalist, amazing guy, and I think the first one I discovered of his was probably either his version of Hallelujah or the prayer, I think. Because I always love an artist that can cover that song, because Celine Dion is my favorite. And so, so I started out with that, and then I moved my way up in his stuff. And I was like, wow, this guy is just amazing. And, I absolutely loved him. And he, blew my socks off, really. And then it was like, no, back up here, back up. My first Peter Hollins was Black is the Color, with Avi Kaplan. Because I remember that day, because I was on Twitter, and I gave him a shout out, and I was like, hey, this is really good. Next thing I know, he's following me on Twitter. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I never thought in a million years that somebody by the name of Peter Hollins, who's huge now in the world of acapella, that he would be following me. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to edit out a lot of that because I'm having my morning coffee this morning. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. So, Peter Hollins, Black is the Color, he followed me on Twitter. And then he managed to send me a couple of tweets because I was showing my appreciation and kind of fanning about his craft and his art. So then I started off with that. And then I think it was a couple of years after that. Then back, so we're probably in like 2018 around there because I stopped using my Twitter account totally, like completely just dropped it. And then I think it was through Facebook again. No, it wasn't Facebook again. Because I posted it on Facebook. I discovered, through YouTube, This Is Halloween. Like, it had just popped up because I think it was around October. So it was, like, Halloween was coming up. So then I was like, oh, okay, I'll check and see, what this is about. And I wasn't being that cynical about it because I was like I just get drawn into things, and like when I look at it, I don't look at it from a perspective of like the lighting or the effects or the makeup. The makeup got me, and I was still trying to figure out through that whole entire video. I had no idea who anybody was, and I was like. I didn't know. I didn't know who Earl was. I didn't know who Ellie was. I didn't know who Jay. I didn't know Geoff. I didn't know Layne. I had no idea. I did not do my research. So I watched it, loved it, and then again I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. But then I guess it just kind of was stuck in my brain. And then I think the next one that got recommended to me was. Probably, I don't think it was Oogie Boogie. Oh my god, my cat's howling in the hallway. Someone shut that cat up. Sorry. Yeah, so I think, was it Oogie Boogie? No, it wasn't Oogie Boogie. I think it was probably either What's This, or then I switched over to Christmas, or I might have discovered some of their stuff with Rachel Potter. I don't know, because it was just, kind of that wormhole, and things were just getting recommended to me, recommended. So I was like, okay, I'll check out this one, I'll check out that one, I'll check out, I think the next one, Queen in 5 Minutes. That was what it was. Queen in 5 Minutes. And, I love that one. Cause I didn't know who anybody was, and I still hadn't done the research. So, upon searching, I was like, okay, so there's this, they all have makeup, they're all guardians of certain fantasies, absolutely loved it. And then, once Geoff comes on screen, and then I'm like, okay, well, he's definitely the base, I believe. I had no idea. And then he goes out with that high in Queen in 5 Minutes, and I'm like, bruh, what? And then, it kind of just went on from there. And then, building up to that, I just kept on watching. And then it was the more that I just kept on watching, I was learning more. I was like, okay, I know who Ellie is. I know who Tony is. I know Earl, Layne, Geoff, Jay. And then, I dig a little deeper, and then I'm like, okay, I know Toxic Audio, that, Geoff fell off of a chair and redeemed himself by hitting a super high G5 at the end of Grace Kelly. So there you go. I mean, I would not have known that, pardon me. That's good coffee. I would not have known that information had I not dug around and figured it out. So, I think that's kind of where I started with discovering acapella artists as far as acapella goes. And then, cause like I kind of went back from like pentatonics and I listened to like their Daft Punk medley, listened to Making Christmas. But then after Audie left, I kind of was like, okay, this, I don't know, cause then, not that I'm saying any of them are better. They're all creative in their own way, which they are, but I'm starting to think that pentatonics kind of became a little more mass produced, and I always have this opinion that with some music labels, if you assign yourself to a music label, you basically lose your independence and your freedom, because you're going to be having that label make all the decisions for you and how your music is going to affect everybody. Like, you will not be able to have that originality. You're not going to be able to have that, that creativity that spawns out from just doing it yourself. So, at least with VoicePlay, like, when they have said that, it's like, yes, we are our own managers, we get to do this at our homes, we get to do it, like, without a manager, without, a record label. I love that, because it just really expresses that it's like they're taking the time, they're working hard, they're gonna be, oh man, I'm gonna have to edit out some of my burping, sorry. They're just doing their own thing, and I love that because they're able to be original. They're able to produce things and edit things the way that they want it to be and express their own vision out of what they want from the craft, so to speak. And I love that about them. Like, they just take that time to just put those little minuscule details into something, whether it be the video, whether it be vocally, and it's like, even to this day, when I think that I have heard everything out of one of their songs, I think it was just yesterday, I was listening to something just like this. And of course, it's just, that kind of head bop type of beat to it, right? And like, you hear a lot of things. But then my ears had picked up on the harmonies more than I had heard them before. And I'm like, what is this? Like, it's just like, it took me away, because I was like, I thought I had heard everything, but then it's like, nope, you have not heard everything. So and you never will. I think I was listening to, what the heck else was I listening to? I think it was I had watched the Charismatic Voice interview that Layne did with Elizabeth Zarhoff, and hopefully I pronounced her name correctly. And I can't listen to that song the same again, because now that I listen to it, the medley, it's like, oh, there's teasers in there. There's little, Easter eggs in there that nobody has ever really thought about or discovered. So that's pretty funny. But I definitely think, like when I first started getting into acapella, I didn't think of it as a huge thing. And then the one movie, and I know that this is terrible for me to say here, but the movie that got me into acapella was Pitch Perfect. Yes, that crazy Pitch Perfect movie got me into acapella. Like, it just kind of opened up my love for it. And now VoicePlay has immensely been that inspiration for me in the long run. I've been stuck with it ever since, and it's not that I can arrange anything. Oh God, no. No. I've tried. I'm still taking music theory, so I have to kind of get through that first, and then maybe see where I'm at when it comes to arranging. I just get very excited about something that I enjoy. And, I get very excited. And then once I get excited, I'm like, oh, like, I can do this. I'll take a hand at this. And then it's like, oh, no. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And, don't ever do it again. So let me see. I didn't really set this up. So like I said, this is the experimental episode here. Yeah. And then I think after VoicePlay came along and I've been stuck here ever since, it's just, they never fail to amaze me. They never fail. I mean, yes, there's been transitions from members leaving and coming into the group, and that's, super painful to deal with, because, when you work with somebody for so long, and then they're kind of like, oh, I'm ready to move on. It's always difficult, because you always think that, they're gonna be there forever, but at the same time, they're out of mutual respect for the group. They're just like, oh, okay, like, we're gonna miss you, no doubt, but it's like, keep going, because you have that ability, and you have that permission to always move forward with what you want to do with your life. What else can I say here? I want to make this like at least 20 minutes. Okay, so I've talked about how I discovered them, kind of the origin of why I liked acapella music. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, to anybody from my Instagram account, if they're asking anything, about, why Geoff is my favorite, I might have to get into that in another episode, because that's gonna be another episode long piece. Maybe even two, because I could go on about the guy forever, because he's Geoff. He's amazing. Let me see. So what else about acapella can I talk about that I've enjoyed? I think I just have liked it as an art form, per se. And of course I've always seen all those genre fights on YouTube and everything like that, where it's like, oh, it's not a genre, or it is a genre, blah, 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 blah. But I just think of it as a creative art form that people have managed to master. And, that they managed to take it and make it their own and have fun with it. So it's, but it's also using the human voice, which also makes it interesting too. I'm running out of hot coffee here. Yeah, it's an art form, definitely, because human voice, I never expected human voice to be making those types of notes or tones or whatever, and I just always find that's interesting, because it's like, people can sing, no doubt, but then when it comes to like pentatonics, Peter Holland's VoicePlay, you're doing things with your human voice that pushes the envelope, where I don't even think that you had ever expected it to be that way, ever. That it's like you'd be pushing those boundaries, or you'd be doing things that it would just be like, people absolutely love this stuff, like they're going crazy for it. Yeah, and, I mean, as for me liking acapella, I think acapella is probably like on the top list of my interest in music likes, because, it's just very original, and people manage to take, their own twist on certain songs and certain things. And it just always inspires me, because it's like, that level of creativity, you're not trying to outdo yourself, but it's also just that level of creativity that's just like, I could never probably do that in a million years. So, oh my gosh, I'm trying to like trying not to burp. I mean, I can edit those out later, but it's like, I haven't eaten yet, so I'm still very hungry. See, again, there we go. I'm super burpy today. Well, I think that about wraps it up here for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Let me know in the comments when this goes up on YouTube how badly I did it. If you guys want more, I will be able to deliver. But thanks for listening, and we will see you around. Thanks, guys.
Here we go. So put your best face on.